And to show you that the Masons created this nation, let me show you this drawing of George Washington laying the cornerstone of the Capitol building on September the 18th, 1793. Notice that nearly all of the other participants are wearing their Masonic jewelry and aprons. And on the 200th anniversary of the laying of the cornerstone, the Masons repeated the ceremony with Senator Strom Thurmond, a 33rd degree Mason, shown here under the tripod to the left, doing the honors. So it appears as if Albert Pike was correct when he wrote in his book entitled Morals and Dogma, "The world will soon come to us," meaning the Masons, "for its sovereigns," apparently meaning its governmental leaders, and pontiffs, apparently meaning its religious leaders. "We shall be rulers over the masters of the world." So the Masons will be the secret power behind the religions and the governments of the world. It appears that the American people have been, quote, "coming to us," unquote, meaning the Masons, for over 200 years for its sovereigns. End of part 3. Please hold for part 4. Part 4 of 4. But the Masonic involvement in the history of this nation does not end here. There is more to be learned about their involvement in the founding of this nation. If you multiply the number 13 by itself, meaning 13 by 13 obviously, the result is 169. If you subtract the number from the year of the founding of this nation, in other words 1776, you will arrive at the year 1607, the date that the first settlers arrived in America. If you add the number 169 to 1776, you will get the year 1945. The year that Harry Truman, the President of the United States, dropped the 2 atomic bombs on Christians in Hiroshima and Nagasaki in Japan. By the way, Harry Truman did not have to drop those 2 bombs to end World War II with Japan. He knew that Japan was trying to surrender. That is all documented in my book entitled The Unseen Hand. Now, if you number the number of days, or count the number of days, between July the 4th, 1945, and August the 6th, 1945, the day they dropped the first atomic bomb on Hiroshima, you will discover that they total 33 days. And in one more coincidence, if you add the number of the letters and numbers in August the 6th, 1945, you will find that they total 33. Harry Truman, by the way, was by the way of the strangest of coincidences, the 33rd President of the United States. He was a 32nd degree when he decided to drop the bombs when he didn't have to, but was made an honorary 33rd degree just a few months later. This is an official portrait of the President dressed in his Masonic attire. The Ku Klux Klan was founded in 1867, and if you will notice, there are 3 K's in their name. K is the 11th letter in the alphabet, so once again, 3 times 11 is 33. Another strange coincidence. World War I ended on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month, and the sum of the 3 11s is obviously 33. This is a picture of NASA's orbiter Discovery landing at their Kennedy Space Center in Florida on runway 33. Many of the nation's astronauts have been members of the Masonic Lodge. There are 33 balloon floats in the Macy's Thanksgiving Parade. there are 33 cars in the starting grid for an Indianapolis Speedway 500-mile race. Let me now try to offer an explanation of why these conspirators revere the number 33. This is a drawing of the human backbone, and if you count the number of the vertebrae, there are 32 of them. The skull is attached to the backbone, and it would be the 33rd vertebrae if it was one. The human skull is the home of the mind, man's ability to think. And these conspirators want to be totally free to determine for themselves what is right and wrong. So that is why they revere the number 33. The number 33 stands for the seat of their ability to reason, to freely think for themselves. And the next slide might be partial corroboration that the number 33 has something to do with the human skull. This is a woman from the Padang area of Indonesia, and their culture asks some of the women to put rings around the neck as they age. However, no woman is ever asked to put on more than 32 rings, meaning the head would become the number 33. Now, I don't know how they learned that there were 32 vertebrae in the human backbone, but if they did it for this reason we've been talking about, then the head would be, of course, the 33rd vertebrae. Once again, just another strange coincidence. But perhaps this is the most pertinent explanation of why the conspirators revere the number 33. This is a map of the area in Iraq around the city of Baghdad. The red line represents the 33rd degree northern latitude, just a few miles north of the city of Babylon, the home of the ancient mystery religion. That means that it can be said that the 33rd degree northern latitude runs through the city of Babylon, since each latitude is several miles wide between the two neighboring latitude lines. And I think that is the real reason that the Masons place such importance on the number 33. There are certainly many other instances of the use of symbols in the numbers 13, 32, and 33. But since they were only coincidences, I do not want to spend too much time on the others that I have found. But there are certainly many, but I just wanted to show you a few because I do not believe that they are coincidences. And to show you that the Masons are major players in the past, let me show you confirmation of this fact from two quotations taken from two books written by Manly P. Hall, one of the major writers in support of the Masonic Lodge because he was a 33rd degree Mason. Masonry is the most powerful organization in the land. It is an ordainer of kings. Its hand has shaped the destinies of worlds. But let me continue to discuss their involvement in this nation's past. The streets of Washington, D.C. contain another hidden symbol, one that must be explained first. The five-pointed star is a common symbol utilized in a variety of ways. The star on the left is a photograph of one of the stars in the flag of the United States, where each of the 50 of them symbolizes one of the 50 states. That star is placed with one of its 5 points up and two of its points down. However, the star can also be reversed, so that only 1 point is down and two are up. And that, of course, is represented by the star on the right. This star, with 1 point down, is a symbol of the Eastern Star, a Masonic organization for women. And here is the Eastern Star shown on a fez, a hat apparently worn by members of this Masonic group. This difference between the two stars are explained in a book entitled History of Freemasonry and Concordant Orders, published in 1891 by a series of 78 high-ranking members of the Masonic Lodge. One of their members, William R. Singleton, a 33rd degree Mason, wrote about the star in his article entitled The Divine Plan. This is that portion of the article showing the two stars, one with 1 point up and the other with 1 point down. Notice that the drawing on the right shows the head of a goat inside of it, obviously referring to the goat of Mendes, a symbol of the devil. This is how the article described the two stars. This star, having 5 points, 5 rays rather, represents God. All that is pure, virtuous, and good, when represented with 1 point upward. But when turned with 1 point down, it represents evil. All that is opposed to the good, pure, and virtuous. It represents the goat of Mendes. This is a drawing of the goat of Mendes shown on the cover of a book about witchcraft written by a practicing witch. Notice that the drawing shows a goat head on a human body. Notice also that the goat has female breasts, indicating that the goat is bisexual. This thought about the 5-pointed star is repeated on page 101 of the same book. When the star elevates 2 of its points, it represents Satan, or the goat of the mysteries. And here is the 5-pointed star laid out in the streets north of and above the White House, the box at the low middle of the map, the home of the President of the United States. By the way, the black rectangle shown on the top center is the 33rd degree Masonic Temple in Washington, D.C. I'm sure it is a coincidence that it is precisely 13 blocks north of the White House. Now I would like to discuss the connection between the number 13, the star, and Satan, also known as Lucifer or the devil. Standeo, in his book entitled The Cosmic Conspiracy, stated, 13 is the value assigned to represent Satan. But there are other explanations of the number 13, one of which was offered by Manly P. Hall, the Mason, who said that there were 12 great religions in the world, and the 13th was the one concealed inside the other 12. What I believe he was saying was that there was a secret worship of a particular god in each of the 12 other great religions. And my research has indicated to me that that particular god concealed in the 12 great religions of the world is Lucifer, also called Satan, or the devil. I would like to explain what this means. Let's say that all the believers in Osiris, the Egyptian sun god, are inside the circle. Everyone else is outside the circle because they do not believe in Osiris. Inside the circle is a small percentage of believers, shown by the red dot in the center, who share a common secret. And that secret is that Osiris is in truth Lucifer, also called Satan, or the devil. Those who believe this are called adepts, princes, or illuminated ones, and their task is to keep the secret from the rest of the believers. This is what Mr. Hall was saying. And I would like to add my own opinion as to why the number 13 is significant to these conspirators. 6 is the number of man, and 7 is the number of completion or perfection. If the two numbers are added together, the total is 13, or perfected man. This secret worship believes that through it man can become